Hello everybody and welcome! If you would like to see how I made this festive Easter Luton decor, keep on watching. To make the bunny banner, you'll need a bunny and letter stencil, colorful craft paper, some white yarn, wide burlap ribbon, twine, white paint, as well as a glue gun, paintbrush, some scissors, a ruler, something to write with, and a fork. First thing you'll need to cut out your bunny and trace it onto your craft paper. Then cut each of those bunnies out. I made 8, but you can make as many as you like. Now for the cottontails. This is where your fork comes in. I wrapped the yarn about 20 to 30 times, tied another piece around the other direction, and knotted it really tight. Next, slide it off the fork and cut open all the loops. You can trim off any long ends here too. You'll need enough tails for each bunny. For your letters, make sure you have at least one of each to spell out your sign. For some letters, I left a little notch to keep the inner piece secure. To make the burlap triangles, I measured the width of the ribbon to mark the length of each side, then cut them out. To say Happy Easter with an exclamation, I made 12 triangles. Using a brush, I carefully stippled the paint over the stencil for a clean finish. For the letters with the notch, I just freehand filled it in afterwards. To attach them all, I used a twine, eyeballing the length. Just make sure the twine gets longer for each lower row. Another thing to be careful about is flipping your letters correctly when gluing to the back, so it reads out happy instead of yibba. To make these little candy jars, you'll need a mason jars, wide painter's tape, spray paint, ribbon, small pieces of fabric or cut-out jar toppers, Easter basket grass, pinking shears, pencil, cutting tool, and don't forget some Easter goodies. To start off, I took a long strip of tape and stuck it to my cutting mat. Using these pictures for reference, I drew some Easter shapes on the tape. I carefully cut them out and peeled away the extra tape. I then took each shape and stuck it to the front of my jars. Make sure the edges are nice and secure. Now to paint. I took this step outside. Be careful not to spray too heavily or you will get drip marks. And to make sure the paint doesn't go inside, flip the jars upside down. Before the paint fully dries, peel the tape off. For 2 of the jars, I bought these cutout toppers, and for the other 2, I cut out 7x7 inch fabric squares and painted the edges. For the inside, I put a little bit of the basket grass, then filled them with chalk. I secured the fabric on with elastics, and then finished them all off with a little bit of ribbon. For this colorful cake, you'll need a cake mix or homemade batter, 3 6-inch cake pans, yellow, pink, and blue food coloring, white and green icing, a piping bag with tip numbers 47, 30, and 233, and some chocolate eggs. For this, I used a boxed cake mix. With that, I added the equivalent of 3 eggs in an egg substitute, 1 1/4 cups of water, and 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. Then I mixed until well blended. I divided the batter up evenly into 3 different bowls, then added the coloring to each bowl. Next, I filled each greased baking pan with one of the colored batters and baked at 350 until a toothpick came out clean. When using an egg substitute, the baking process can sometimes take longer than suggested. Once your cakes have cooled, you can start layering them together with icing in between to stick them together. I also used a large straw through the center to keep the layers from sliding around. Now you can completely cover your cake in icing. For the basket weave, I used white icing in a piping bag with a number 47 Wilton tip. To create this design, I started with one vertical line and several evenly spaced horizontal lines over top. The next vertical line covers the ends of the previous horizontal lines, and then the new horizontal lines are placed between the spaces of the last ones and over top of the new vertical line. For the top and bottom edge, I did an overlapping swirl using a Wilton number 30 tip. For the grass, I used green frosting with a number 233 Wilton tip. Short squeezes create a grass-like effect. To finish it off, I placed some chocolate eggs in the grass. To create these speckled Easter eggs, you will need a dozen fake paintable eggs, acrylic paint in blue, pink, yellow, white, and brown, a paper plate, sponge brushes, and a toothbrush. For easy cleanup, I started with a plastic bag over my workspace. These eggs came with little stands, which helped in the painting process. To soften the pink paint, I added a little bit of white and mixed it in. I started off painting one side, then flipped the eggs to do the bottom when they dried. I did 3 eggs in each of the colors. Now take your brown paint and toothbrush and be prepared to get a little messy. By flicking the brush towards the eggs, you can get really nice speckles and splats of paint. To display the eggs, I found a white basket and filled it with some paper grass. I hope you get inspired by these festive designs. Thanks for watching, and happy Easter!